Okay, hello, welcome back. My name is Ricardo Montoya. I am your teacher for the English class 500 or 600, I think, maybe 400, in the University of Guanajuato. I work for the SEA. So we have this series of videos trying to explain all the grammar of English because I think it is important for everybody to have the chance to understand how everything works. And honestly, with this remote semester, it's going to be even harder to do that. But I've been working on this program for a while, and it consists of a number of chapters. As you know, we started speaking about words, what a word is, what a function is, how to use the functions and the words and how to make sentences. We started from the very beginning with simple sentences and affirmative statements and questions and stuff. If you have any questions, try to start from the beginning, because if you don't have the foundation from the beginning, it is going to be a little harder to understand. Okay, so right now we have checked multiple time tenses. We started with time tenses recently. We have spoken about the simple present, the simple past, and the simple future. Those three, the simple present and the simple past, are the most difficult ones. Try to check them first. Then we were checking the present continuous, the present continuous, the past continuous, and the future continuous. We checked the three of them. Again, if you have any questions about them, just try and check them on the channel. Try to look for them. I will label them with the appropriate name. And then we started checking present perfect last time. We are gonna be speaking about perfect time tenses over the course of this series. So we started with the present perfect. We were checking it in the last class. Well, in the last video, we were speaking about the auxiliary for the perfect forms is have or has in the case of the present, and the verb is always in the past participle. You know that the past participle is not time tense; is only conjugations, a conjugation for any time tense. Okay. Another important thing is that we were checking how the verb to be is a very normal verb. You have subject, auxiliary, verb, and complement. The verb to be is like any other verb. Only the simple present and the simple past have some special considerations with the verb to be. For all the other time tenses that we have checked, the simple future, all the continuous forms, and the present perfect, the verb to be is a normal verb. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Let me just move on, and then we're gonna be speaking right now. Today, we're gonna move on a little bit, and we're gonna speak about the past perfect. Okay. We check the present perfect, we're going to be checking the past perfect. It says the past perfect is used to speak about the past of the past. Okay, this is somewhat complicated or difficult to understand. But what do I mean when I say the past of the past? Just think about it. When you're speaking in the past is a very long time. It's a very long time. I mean, 10 seconds ago is the past, and a million years ago is the past. So whenever you're telling a story, maybe you're referring to a bigger frame, a bigger space of a bigger amount of time. Okay, so whenever you're telling a story, maybe you're saying something like, yesterday I ate 10 tacos for dinner. That's what I ate, 10 tacos for dinner yesterday. It was 12 hours ago. It is a finished action. It is the simple past. I ate 12 tacos for dinner. And then somebody asks you, hey, why did you eat so many tacos? Why were you so hungry? And I can tell you, the problem is I hadn't eaten anything on the whole day. If I say I haven't eaten anything, that is the past perfect. So what does it mean? You have two moments in the past. You have the recent past, and then you have the far away past, the remote past. The recent past is the simple past. 12 hours ago, I ate 10 tacos. Okay, but 24 hours ago, in the remote past, I haven't eaten anything. So first, I didn't eat anything for the whole day, and then last night I ate 10 tacos for dinner. So you have the simple past is the recent past, and the past perfect is the remote past. The past is a very long time, and when we are telling stories, we often use oftentimes we need to differentiate something that finished in the recent past, the simple past, and something that occurred before that moment in the remote past. That is the past perfect. That is how we call it. Okay. Examples. For example, we have this this example here. Let me just check. It says, I ate a whole pizza for dinner last night. I ate a whole pizza. Why did you eat so much pizza? Why did you eat a whole pizza? This happened 12 hours ago, and this is the simple past. This is a finished action. I mean, I ate a whole pizza, and that's it. I mean, you cannot change that. But why did you do that? Why did you eat a whole pizza? Well, maybe the reason I ate a whole pizza was because I hadn't eaten anything in the remote past before this time. First, I hadn't eaten anything. 12 hours after that, I ate a whole pizza. Okay, so we have two different times. This is the recent past, and the other one hadn't right here. This is the remote past. Recent past and remote past. This happened closer to the present, and this happened more far away from the present. Okay, I have another example. For example, we have this. It says, yesterday I was very happy. Okay, I was very happy. This happened yesterday, 24 hours ago. This is the simple past. This is a finished action. Okay, this is something that happened 24 hours ago in the simple past. I was very happy. And then I ask you, why were you happy? I was very happy to see my friend. Why were you so happy to see your friend? Well, the thing is, I hadn't seen him in 10 years. So this is the remote past. Okay? This happened first. For 10 years, I didn't get to see my friend. And then in the last 24 hours, I got to see him again. So I was happy in the simple past because I hadn't seen him in the past perfect. Yeah, that is why I call it the past of the past. You use it to speak about antecedents or think precedents, okay? Things that happen before another thing. Both of them are in the past. Both these actions are in the past, but one happened first and one happened after that. And you're using the simple past and the past perfect to explain that separation, to explain that they didn't happen at the same time. Okay, now in Spanish, because I know that sometimes you have problems when I speak all the time in English. So again, el pasado perfecto, ¿para qué sirve? Muy rápidamente, es el pasado del pasado. Piénsenlo como el pasado del pasado. ¿Para qué sirve? Nos sirve para hacer una diferencia, podemos decirlo, entre el pasado remoto y el pasado reciente. Cuando decimos historias, a veces hay cosas que sucedieron relativamente hace poco, ya están terminadas, son el pasado, y otras que pasaron hace mucho tiempo, que también ya están terminadas y que también ya son el pasado. Pero para contar la historia es necesario separar y decir qué pasó primero y qué pasó después. ¿Ok? En este caso, por ejemplo, tenemos dos ejemplos. Yo me comí una pizza entera como cena anoche. ¿Por qué te comiste una pizza entera anoche como cena? Porque no había comido nada durante todo el día. ¿Sí? Yo comí, es el pasado reciente, hace 12 horas me comí una pizza entera. ¿Por qué? Porque en las 24 horas anteriores no había comido nada. Yo comí porque no había comido. ¿Sí? Comí es el pasado reciente, había comido es el pasado remoto. Estás separando estas dos acciones. Estás diciendo prácticamente que no ocurrieron al mismo tiempo. ¿Sí? Tenemos este otro ejemplo. Ayer estaba muy feliz de ver a mi amigo. Ok, ayer es el pasado reciente, digamos hace 24 horas estabas muy feliz de ver a tu amigo. ¿Pero por qué estabas tan feliz de ver a tu amigo? Porque yo no lo había visto desde hacía 10 años, o yo no lo había visto desde hace 10 años. No lo había visto, ¿ok? El pasado remoto es que yo estuve muy contento de verlo. El pasado, perdón, ese es el pasado reciente, es el pasado simple. El pasado remoto es el pasado perfecto, yo no lo había visto. Entonces ya tenemos tres pasados. Tenemos el pasado simple, el pasado continuo, y el pasado perfecto. Se pueden usar los tres juntos para decir anécdotas. No sé si se acuerdan, el pasado continuo, I was working, I was watching, I was doing, se utilizaba para dar referencias, se utilizaba para explicar el contexto, se utilizaba para explicar no la parte central de la historia, sino lo que pasó alrededor de la parte central de la historia. Y el pasado perfecto sirve para hablar de otras cosas que pasaron con anterioridad. ¿Haremos algún ejemplo con esto? Voy a hacer un ejemplo específico aquí también en YouTube, donde vamos a estar explicando directamente nada más un ejercicio en pasado simple, pasado perfecto, pasado continuo, para que podamos nosotros darnos cuenta de cuándo se usa uno, cuándo se usa otro, por qué se usa uno, por qué se usa otro, cómo funcionan de alguna manera. ¿Ok? Haremos eso más tarde, pero bueno, por ahora tenemos 3 pasados. ¿Cómo podemos decir una historia usando los 3? Ok. ¿Se acuerdan? Yo les había contado con el otro ejemplo del día que me rompí el brazo. Y les dije, I was walking in the park, it was raining, I was listening to music, I wasn't paying attention. Todo eso es el contexto. Yo estaba en medio de caminar por el parque, de escuchar música, estaba no poniendo atención. Eso es lo que estaba ocurriendo. Es el contexto. Todavía no pasa la parte central de la historia. ¿Sí? Ahora les puedo decir, I was very worried, estaba muy preocupado because I had failed an exam. Estaba muy preocupado porque había reprobado un examen. And I had promised my parents that I would pass it. Y le había prometido a mis papás que lo iba a pasar. Entonces, en ese momento yo estaba preocupado porque días antes o semanas antes u horas antes yo había reprobado un examen que antes había prometido pasar. ¿Sí? Todo eso es el contexto. Ustedes tienen el día del accidente, todo está en pasado continuo. I was walking, I wasn't paying attention, I was thinking, I was listening to music. Los antecedentes fueron antes de ese momento. I had failed an exam, yo había reprobado un examen. I had promised my parents, yo le había prometido a mis papás. Todo eso es anterior. Y el punto central de la historia es en pasado simple. And I didn't see a hole, I fell in the hole and I broke my arm. No vi un agujero, caí en el agujero, me rompí el brazo. Ese es el punto central de la historia, está en pasado simple. Lo que pasó al mismo tiempo o más o menos al mismo tiempo, pero no es el punto central, sino el contexto, es en pasado continuo. Y los antecedentes, las cosas que hubieran pasado en un momento anterior a ese sería el pasado perfecto. ¿Ok? Vamos a ver cómo funciona el... perdón, no encuentro el mouse. Aquí. Ok, ¿cómo funciona el pasado perfecto? Vamos a ver. Okay, so we have this part. It says, time tenses, the past perfect. Okay, in the past perfect, let me just pick the drawing thing. Okay, in the past perfect, the auxiliary is always the verb have. Sorry, I haven't picked it up. Okay, in the past perfect, the auxiliary is always the verb have, conjugated in the past. So remember, in the present perfect, the auxiliary is have or has, have in present. In the past perfect is have in past, so is have. Every single time for the past perfect, every time you're going to use had, okay? For all the subjects, and as with the rest of the perfect time tenses, the verb is always in the past participle. Because we have a perfect form, remember, whenever we have a perfect form, the simple, the present perfect, the past perfect, the future perfect, we need the participle form. We always need the participle. I hope that you remember the participle. Regular verbs in participle, again, is not a time tense, okay? Participle is a conjugation of the verbs. Normally, verbs conjugated in participle, they just finish with the or ed. The problem is we have a lot of irregular verbs, and in this case, the only thing we have to do is just memorize them. Lucky for us, this is I think this is the most difficult time tense conjugation that we have to learn. This is the only one with real irregulars. Most of the other conjugations are very easy. We only have 6 conjugations in English. 4 of them, they are very, very simple. You don't really have to do much. So this is the only work we have to do. Again, as with the present perfect, I think in the present perfect, on the description of the video, I left you a table, a little a PDF document that you can download with a list of irregulars that you can use, okay? It says, unfortunately, we have a lot of irregular verbs and we need to memorize them. Okay, well, yeah, that's a problem. Now, what about the auxiliary? The auxiliary for this time tense is the verb to have in the past. So how do you use the verb to have in the past? Well, I have. you had. He, she, it had. It's very simple because you don't really have to change. It's always had. The first, the second, the third person of the singular is always had. The first, the second, and the third person of the plural is, again, always had. So it's not really that much of a problem. Well, the problem is, well, we have this little contraction. I have can be contracted, and you can say I've. You have can have a contraction, and you can say you'd. He had, he'd, she had, she'd, and they had. They, and it had, it'd. We had, we'd, you had, you'd, they had, they'd. Okay? So that is the thing, that is the problem. Now, we have another problem. The problem is, as you remember with the present perfect, this contraction, the contraction had, it can have two meanings. It can be I had, or it can be I would. When you say I've, it can be I had or I would. When you say you'd, it can mean you have or you would. When you say he'd, it can mean he had or he would. When you say she'd, it can mean she had or she would. When you say it'd, it can mean it had or it would. When you use we had or with, it can mean we had or we would. When you say you'd, it can be you had or you would. When you say they had or they've, it can mean they had or they would. So how do you recognize if you have only this word with? How do you know if you're speaking about we had or you're speaking about we would? If you have I've, how do you know if you're speaking about I had or you're speaking about I would? Okay, well, very simple. Again, you need to go back and you need to remember the structure. Okay, so what is the structure for simple sentences, for affirmative statements? The structure is subject plus auxiliary plus verb. Sorry, I didn't write the auxiliary. Verb, and complement. Remember that the complement is always optional with sentences in English. Okay, so remember for the present perfect, for the past perfect, the auxiliary is have, and the verb is always in the past participle. Yes, is it okay? If you have the modal verb, if you have the modal verb would, the thing is a little bit different. When you have would, the modal is would. Modal would. Okay? And what happens with the verb? The verb, when you have the modal would, the verb is always in the base form. Yeah? So you need to remember this, because this is how you recognize, this is how you know if he'd means he had or he would. With is we had or we would. So for example, in this case, let's check them all. We have he'd eaten cereal. He'd. Is this would or is this had? How do you know? It depends on the following verb. Yeah? As you remember, let me move this to somewhere where it is visible. I think this, I'm gonna have to change it a little bit. Okay, I didn't really left much space for this, so I'm gonna place it here. Where? I don't think I can. Okay, let me just. I can't even change the size of this. Okay. I know what I will do. Sorry. I'm going to get rid of this. Oh, sorry. This is just, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to make some space so that you have everything clear. Okay, I erase that. And now, sorry, this can be here. Okay. Oh, it doesn't work. Nope. I'm really sorry about this. Okay, it's just gonna be here. Okay. Let me just. I know what I will do. I will try. Okay, let me just make it a little shorter. Just with the model, a little less space. Um, okay. So we have it here. Okay. So how do you know if this he'd, again, we have this part, we have this word, he'd, it can be he had, or it can be he would. How do you recognize them? Well, it depends on what you have next. After have or after would, if you have have, if you are using have, you need a verb in the past participle. If you are using would, you need a verb in the base form. So eaten, is this in the past participle or in the base form? Eaten is in the past participle. So this here is the present perfect, right? Sorry, the past perfect. He'd eaten cereal. He had eaten cereal. How do you know that this the means have? Because the verb is in the past participle. That's pretty much it. In this case, it says, with go to Spain. How do you know if this the means we had or we would? It can be we had or it can be we would. How do you know? Again, very simple, because if you have the past participle, this is the auxiliary have, and this is the past perfect. If you have the base form, this is the modal would, and it is just a modal. In this case, go is in the base form. In the past participle, it will be gone. We had gone to Spain. In this case, it says we will go to Spain. This is a modal verb. This is a conditional modal verb. We're going to be checking conditionals later, but you know that with means we would. In this case, again, we have the same thing. We have I've, and we don't know because I've can mean I had, or it can mean I would. How do you know which one is it? You remember, again, if you have the past participle, is the past perfect. If you have the base form, is the modal verb would. In this case, gone is the past participle. So this is in the present perfect. Okay, sorry, in the past perfect. I had gone home. Yo había ido a casa. Yeah. Again, we have a different one. You'd. What is the meaning of you'd? Well, we don't really know, because you'd can mean you have, or it can mean you would. How do you tell the difference? Again, if you have a verb in the past participle, this is the past perfect. If you have a verb in the base form, this is the modal verb would. Like is a verb in the base form. In the past participle is likes. So this is a modal verb. You will like an apple. Does it make sense? Yeah, I hope so. Again, another important thing is you have your subject. Sorry, I think I didn't change the thing that I needed. Okay, it says my sister, subject. Perfect. Auxiliary, had. The auxiliary, this is very simple. The auxiliary is had. Perfect. Well, this is an adverb. This doesn't count. Been. This is a verb. This verb is in the past participle. To Japan, this is the complement. This is the complement. My sister had never been to Japan. What is the meaning of that? My sister had never been to Japan. Mi hermana nunca había estado en Japón. ¿Ok? ¿Se dan cuenta cómo el verbo to be es un verbo común y corriente también en el pasado perfecto? Aquí, después del have, tenemos un verbo en pasado participio, como por ejemplo el verbo gone, o como el verbo eaten, ¿sí? O como el verbo been. Si ustedes quieren usar el verbo to be en cualquier tiempo perfecto, pues solo lo ponen participio como cualquier otro verbo y ya. Es muy, muy sencillo, ¿sí? Otra vez, sobre el presente simple y el pasado simple tienen estas pues, particularidades que los hacen un poquito más difíciles. Aquí tenemos, in the past perfect, the verb to be is just another normal verb. You can use it by conjugating the same by conjugating it the same way you will utilize any other verb. So it is just a regular, normal, simple verb. The verb to be doesn't have anything in particular that makes it, sorry, I think I moved a little bit, okay? It doesn't have anything that makes it harder. It also says, for example, you have an example right here. It says, my grandma, subject, had, auxiliary, been, verb in the past participle, sick. In the remote past, my grandma was sick, but now in the recent past, she got better. My grandma had been sick, mi abuela había estado enferma. Había estado enferma significa que en el presente, que en el pasado más reciente, pues ya no lo estaba. Okay? We can utilize the verb to have, which sounds weird. This is another problem. The problem is that we have the auxiliary have, okay? But also, we have the verb had. Remember that the auxiliary have in the past perfect is had. The verb to have in the past participle is also had. So we can say something like, Edgar had a dog. This is perfectly okay. Acuérdense, esta parte es un poco extraña. Parece que estamos repitiendo el verbo, pero la verdad es que este es el auxiliar y este es el verbo. El auxiliar está en pasado simple porque es el pasado perfecto. El verbo está en pasado participio porque es un verbo en un tiempo perfecto. Pero en el caso de estos dos, pues la conjugación es la misma. Es irregular. En pasado es had y en pasado participio también es had. Entonces, Edgar had a dog. Aquí dice Edgar había tenido un perro. Otra vez en el pasado remoto. Antes había tenido un perro, ahora probablemente ya no. ¿Sí? Es un poco extraño encontrarnos Edgar had, suena raro, pero está bien. Lo que van a encontrar es más bien algo así como, en lugar de he had, van a encontrarlo muy probablemente Edgar, auxiliar, la contracción, el verbo está en pasado participio, y el complemento. Edgar had a dog. Edgar had a dog. Okay? The D is just very subtle. Edgar had a dog. A veces, en realidad la D casi ni suena. Edgar had a dog. La verdad es que la gente va a saber que están usando el pasado perfecto porque el verbo está en pasado participio. Entonces esa parte es muy importante. Edgar had a dog. ¿Estamos bien? ¿Hasta aquí? El verbo to be y el verbo to have son verbos comunes y corrientes. Los podemos utilizar en el pasado perfecto. Aunque se vean raros, aunque nos cueste trabajo imaginarlos, es básicamente la misma cosa. Y aquí vamos a hacer, ya nada más para terminar, una pequeña... bueno, no. Esto ya es el futuro perfecto. Vamos a hacer una pequeña... unos pequeños ejemplos. Vamos a escribir una oración en pasado perfecto. ¿Ok? Otra vez, ¿cuándo se utiliza el pasado perfecto? Se utiliza cuando estamos hablando del pasado. Algo que pasó en un punto en el pasado remoto y se utiliza normalmente para resaltar que hay otra cosa que pasó en el pasado reciente. Por ejemplo, nosotros podemos decir sujeto, I, auxiliar, had, el verbo en pasado participio, gone, y después un complemento. To my house. Yo había ido a mi casa. ¿Qué significa esto? Que esto fue antes de alguna cosa que fue en un pasado más reciente. Normalmente sería algo así como yo había ido a mi casa y no escuché. So, I didn't listen. ¿sí? Yo había ido a mi casa y por lo tanto no estaba aquí para escuchar lo que dijeron. Oye, ¿escuchaste que dijeron? Ah, es que yo me había ido a mi casa. Primero me fui a mi casa, después ellos hablaron, por lo tanto, pues yo no estaba por ahí cuando ellos hablaron y no sé qué dijeron, ¿sí? ¿Qué pasa si queremos hacer la oración negativa? El sujeto, el auxiliar, el verbo y finalmente el complemento, ¿sí? Sujeto, auxiliar, verbo y complemento. ¿Qué hacemos para hacer un negativo? El auxiliar se lleva el negativo. Entonces decimos, I hadn't gone to my house. Yo no me había ido a casa y normalmente aquí hay algo en pasado simple. Yo no me había ido a mi casa cuando se rompió la mesa. Yo todavía no me iba cuando eso pasó. Las dos cosas están acabadas, pero esta es más reciente, esta es más anterior. ¿Cómo hacemos una pregunta? Pues el auxiliar se cambia su lugar con el sujeto. Empezamos con el auxiliar, empezamos con had, el sujeto, no sé, he, no sé, podemos poner un adverbio, ever. Ever es un adverbio muy común con los tiempos perfectos porque significa alguna vez. Had he ever, había él alguna vez en su vida. Had he ever been, el verbo to be es un verbo común y corriente en pasado participio, to a concert. Had he ever been to a concert? ¿Había él alguna vez estado en un concierto? Estoy hablando del pasado. A lo mejor en este momento estamos yendo a un concierto y ahorita te estoy preguntando, oye, ¿y él nunca antes lo había hecho? ¿Nunca antes de hoy o nunca antes de ayer del concierto al que fuimos o al que vamos? ¿Sí? Esto es para hablar de el pasado remoto. ¿Sí? Espero que con esto quede claro. El pasado perfecto no es muy difícil. Ya hemos visto el pasado simple, perdón, el presente simple, el pasado simple, el futuro simple, el presente continuo, el pasado continuo, el futuro continuo, el pasado perfecto y el presente perfecto. Nos falta el futuro perfecto y los tiempos perfectos y continuos. De 12 tiempos que les dije, ya llevamos 8, solo nos faltan 4. En el próximo capítulo vamos a hablar del futuro perfecto y después solo nos quedarán los perfectos continuos y estaremos bien, ¿ok? Creo que eso es todo por ahorita. No quiero hacer demasiado largos los videos. Si quieren descansar un rato, creo que se lo merecen. Si quieren seguir avanzando, si tienen alguna duda o algo así, pues bueno, pueden seguir avanzando. El siguiente tema es futuro perfecto. Otra vez, los invito a que si tienen alguna duda, lo escriban en su libreta y voy a tratar de poner ejercicios que necesiten de esto. Vamos a hacer un ejercicio que utilice todos los pasados para que nos quede un poquito más claro y también otro que utilice todos los futuros para que nos quede un poquito más claro. Los voy a explicar en videos aparte, son videos extras que voy a hacer. Y además, bueno, si tienen ustedes alguna duda, apúntenla y me la pueden mandar por mensaje en el grupo que vamos a tener de la clase o directamente en los comentarios del video. O si no, pues guárdenlo un poquito para cuando tengamos una clase más interactiva, cuando tengamos una sesión virtual, para poder explicarles en un pizarrón virtual específicamente cómo funciona cada cosa. ¿Ok? Entonces, cuídense mucho y bueno, nos vemos después. ¿Ok? Gracias.